This week on the Ocean Cruisers podcast, we're having another chat with super yacht captain and the star of the Below Deck Sailing Yacht TV show, Glenn Shephard. In this podcast, we're going to have a good catch up about the state of our boats and our plans for the season cruising the Med. Since our last podcast, me and Glenn have become good friends. We've met up a couple of times in Spain. Glenn was also a skipper at the Odyssey Sailing Festival in the BVI, and will be returning to the festival in Greece in September for a week with his friend Marco from Below Deck, who will be his chef. So if you'd like to come sailing with Glenn for a week and enjoy some food by Marco, check out theoceancruisers.com/Odyssey for cabin availability. If you'd like to keep up with Glenn, check him out on Instagram at @T_Glenn Shephard, and enjoy the podcast. It's nice to do a podcast with you in your boat instead of in a hotel room as we usually have done.
Yeah, I'm on board. We're in Bodrum.
Mate, I can notice, obviously we've got a really similar boat, but I can tell the similarities straight away with the trim. We've got all this stuff and the little lights, the same shape windows. It's quite cool.
Yeah, well, she's a smaller sister ship to your boat. Your boat was the one that started the whole modern DS line, not the original DS. There were another which were more not really pilot house, but you could see out the front windows.
It looked more pilot house, didn't it?
Yeah, and then they started with your 54 DS, and that kind of, and then it took off. I mean, they had a 50.
Yeah, it went crazy.
They definitely had a 45, a 42, a 39,
49 as well.
I think they had a 49 as well. So it went really well. And then they went over to like the 53 and the 57, which were really nice boats.
The newer ones.
But they kind of, they weren't really deck saloons.
Yeah, they definitely weren't deck saloons. I think, there's a Beneteau 50 at the side of us, and like the profile and especially like the coach roof of the Beneteau 50s is like basically the same as the Ginos that came after this one.
All right.
So yeah, bit similar in shape. Mate, yours was the one that I actually wanted. But then, my wife convinced me that we need a bigger one because we've got cats and children. But for the size, I think your boat is actually the best layout you can get for like a 45 footer in terms of like cockpit and interior space. I think it's the best one they've made.
We love it. I mean, it's perfect for us. It's funny. We just met another Canadian couple in the next bay around the north of here. We were hung out there. There was some really strong southerly winds for a few days, so we just hung out there. And this guy's got a 65, and we went on board. It's like a mini super yacht. It's amazing.
What brand is it?
Well, it's I think they used to be called Solanas. They built a couple, and then I think Bavaria bought it. But I think they only built the one, and his is the one that Bavaria built, or Bavaria had Solana build, or whatever, something like that. Beautiful boat, gorgeous boat. I mean, you really have that super yacht feel. But we were saying, this is amazing. This is beautiful, but it's too much boat. We don't need this much.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot, mate.
It's a lot. And then, everyththing's more expensive, dockage, equipment, everything else. So no, we're really happy with this. We have two heads. It's like a little 2-bedroom apartment with 2 bathrooms, So it's perfect. And we have that massive aft cabin, which, you can hang out in there, you can chill out in there, and you don't feel like you're in a coffin. You know what I mean?
You don't feel like you're in a boat even, really, because it's so beamy at the back as well. Like for a 45, it's massive.
Yeah. Well, ours a 42.
Oh yeah, you're on the 42. Sorry. Yeah, because it's the newer one. Yeah.
So I went to look at a 39, and I think I'm going to take this boat slowly to New Zealand, but I don't know if I'm going to. Yeah. Slowly.
Heck, man. I mean, plan has changed.
Well, no, there's all that stuff I want to. Well, there's all that stuff I want to see in between, and we're in Turkey now. We're planning to do the Adriatic in the fall, and that pretty much completes the Med for us. We did the Balearics. We did 2 summers ago. We did Corsica, Sardinia, Aeolian, and the islands around Napoli. Then last summer we did like 5 months all around Greece, which was amazing. It was and so once we do Turkey and Croatia, Montenegro, there are a couple little places we want to hit, Malta, stuff like that. But if we swap out the keel for a shallower keel, which we're talking to somebody about doing, we might go do the French canals. But other than that, we're planning to go to the Caribbean, hopefully next winter, and be there. Season in the Caribbean, season in the Bahamas, maybe Belize if we have time. East Coast, Pacific Northwest, Baja, and then make
Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I definitely want to do the Pacific Northwest for sure. It's so beautiful, right?
Whereabouts in Canada are you from?
I grew up on the East Coast. Well, not the East Coast, but on the East Side in Montreal. So,
right, okay.
Yeah, I've spent a little bit of time in Vancouver, and it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And the area around there, when I went out there with my folks years ago, and we rented a little boat and putted around, and it was amazing. It's stunning, beautiful scenery, it's stunning. So I definitely want to go do that. I reckon it's a summer location. One summer there, that winter down to Baja. I've heard great things about Baja and Sea of Cortez. And then you're already in the Pacific. So I'm thinking, it's definitely on the list to get to Tahiti, Bora Bora, places like that, And then
I think that's the end destination, mate. Or maybe not the end, but it's the ultimate destination. Those Pacific islands, they're just paradise.
Exactly. And I could get stuck out there for a while. But if I'm out there, I'm thinking I might want to do, Tonga, maybe even Samoa, definitely Fiji. And then the natural progression is to head down to New Zealand for their summer, and but then once you get all that way, there's not that much between New Zealand and the Med that I really want to see. So I don't think I'd do a full circumnavigation.
What about some countries in Asia? Are you not tempted by like Japan or Thailand or Indonesia or anything like that?
I spent 5 years living in Japan. I loved it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I managed an English school in Tokyo for 5 years. That's where I got the money to buy my first boat.
No way. I don't know if we talked. I don't think we talked about that last time. What you did before boating.
That was another life. But and I love this amazing country. But I don't know how good it is for cruising on a small sailboat,
Right.
There are places I would like to see, but I don't know, like Thailand would be cool, but I might just charter a boat for Thailand. A bit of Malaysia, like what's the place there on the west coast of Malaysia, up
Penang.
Penang. I've been in Penang a couple times, but there's another Langkawi.
Yeah, Langkawi's cool as well.
Up near the border with Thailand. So I would like to go and do some of that. And who knows, maybe we're always changing our minds, right? But
it's changed every time we've spoke. Well, you had a different plan at Christmas as well.
It's constantly changing. This whole conversation started off talking about the 39 DS. Yeah, we went to look at one, and my feeling is, unless I do the Indian Ocean and come back to the Med that way, I'd sell the boat in New Zealand and then either buy another 42 because I love this boat, or downsize slightly to the 39. It's not quite as big an aft cabin. It's only like 2/3. It's missing a head, but other than that, it's the same boat. It's virtually the same layout, a little bit smaller cockpit. Yeah, it's not full beam master, but it's 2/3, and the bed goes sideways. So it's a decent size aft cabin, and you're under 12 meters. And so
what's the motivation for downsizing for you then, from like going for a 42 to a 39? What would be the benefit of that?
Well, for me, a 42 was always a bit big. My original boat that I thought I was going to keep it forever was a 34. Yeah, and it was an unusual 34 because I had two heads, two cabins, which I love, and two ensuite heads, and a nice U-shaped settee like this one has. And it was big enough. There's a lot of advantages to a small boat. You don't have quite the space, but everything's cheaper. Everything's easier to find a slip, easier to manage. But it'll be one of the two. I don't think I'd go to a 45. I don't really need anything bigger than this. So it'd be between the 42 and the 39, but sell the boat over there instead of having to bring it all the way back to the Med. Cause I'll finish my sailing days in the Med, probably in Greece. Cause I love it. I love the Med. It's amazing. I mean, I say that now. I haven't been to Tahiti yet, so who knows? But I like the history. I like the cultures. I like the food and the variety. The Med generally is like a big lake. You don't have big ocean swells here. You get shitty weather.
Yeah, but not really massive swell. That's true. Yeah.
You don't have massive swell. If you can get tucked in behind an island, usually you got flat water to sit in, which is really nice. But I don't relish the idea of bringing a boat all the way back to the Med. So sell it over there.
From the other side.
Exactly. Take off all the goodies, chuck them in a container, send it back to the Med, and set up the new boat the same way. So
you'd probably make money as well doing that. I think you'd actually make it because they sell for way more everywhere outside of the Med. Actually, it's definitely the cheapest place to get like a boat like we've got anyway.
It's something that I was thinking. My boat, when I bought this boat new, and I got a really good deal. I paid $120 brand new.
What? You paid $120 for that?
Yeah, brand new in 2008. I paid $120. And if you go to the shows now and look at 42s, they want like close to $500,000 for 42 they're like $350, $400 when they're set up for the show. You pay $450 for a 42, which is to me is a bit crazy. That's a bit too much money.
Oh yeah, it's nuts money, man. You can get amazing property for that price somewhere.
It's a bit too much to have, in a boat. You know what it's like. Yeah, you've got it. You go on ashore, you leave it on anchor, and you got 10 mil chain holding $500,000.
Yeah, it's always a risk.
It's always a risk.
Yeah.
So I that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I love the Med, and definitely I see myself sailing a lot more over here. But there are all those places on the hit list, that I want to see, like Bora Bora and places like that. I've done the Caribbean and Bahamas on my own boat, but I want to do it at least the Caribbean one more time. And I like the Bahamas so much I could do it, winter after winter, So that's kind of my thinking. How about you? What's your plan for the 54? Where are you right now?
Well, where am I right now? We're in Spain. I think we're going to leave this week. Next week. Because it's been blowing like some pretty strong westerlies for the past few days, like into the 35s, 40s, and I don't want to leave in those conditions. I want to wait for a nice 20, doing the nice easy downwinder at 5 knots, so Hibber isn't vomiting. We're going to leave here. We're going to go straight to Mallorca. We're going to do the southeast coast of Mallorca, all those tiny coves all the way up. Yeah. You know them because you live there. Beautiful, mate. Some of the best anchorages in the Med, I think, actually.
Amazing.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So going to do that. Then we're going to hop over to Menorca, probably for a couple of weeks, just do the north of Menorca, because Mahon is Mahon. You've seen it. There's only one anchorage there as well. Then we're going over to Sicily to get my water maker rebuilt.
So you're going to go straight from Menorca to Sicily?
Yeah, straight from Menorca. Well, we might stop in Sardinia. We need to see how time is, because we've got the same idea as you. We want to be in Athens for September for the festival. We're going to see what timing is like. Maybe do the north of Sardinia, which is where like all the beautiful beaches are and stuff like that. But I've got this huge water maker that I inherited with the boat. That's like, I think it's 150 liters an hour, so it's a big thing. 12 volt as well, nice water maker, but it's just been left for like 5 years unused. So when I've tried to fix it myself and I've spoke to them, they're just like, no, send it to Italy. And I'm like, I'm not sending this to Italy. It's like £100 worth of equipment. So they said, okay, well, if you can find your way to Sicily, we've got a facility there. We'll actually come to the boat and rebuild it on the boat for you. It was like, amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's really good. So do that, and then we're going to spend as much time as possible in the Southern Ionian, and then Corinth into the Saronic.
Right. Now the Ionian's amazing. We were there last winter. Well, we were there. We were there in last winter or last fall, and the fall before, I think. Yeah. But it was amazing. Zakynthos is really cool. I didn't realize it was so nice. Yeah,
Zakynthos is actually the first place I went in Greece. It's the first vacation in Greece I took. Yeah, when I was a teenager, it was like Ibiza or Benidorm. It was like a party. I don't know what it's like now. I think it's probably less so, But yeah, I cruised back there last year when I brought the boat back here, and it's still so gorgeous. Like the turtles and the
Beautiful,
sands, like the water
beautiful.
clarity.
Yeah,
It's so cheap as well. Like food is so
yeah.
cheap there and so nice. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Greece is amazing. We stayed in the main port in, Zante or Zakynthos town.
Yeah.
And I think it was like $8 a night or something crazy
Oh, on the
like
quay
that.
wall there.
Yeah, man. It was,
Yeah.
and it's a cool little town, but then we
Oh yeah.
rented a car and we drove around and we loved it. We'll stop there on the way to the Adriatic again for sure, because it was a really cool little port up the East Coast. I can't
Hmm.
remember the name now, but we saw it while we were driving. We want to go and hang out there for a couple of days. It's beautiful.
Nice, mate. You know,
Yeah.
you've sailed in a lot of different countries on like some big boats as well, and your own boats. But like the more people I speak to have spent like a considerable amount of time in Greece, as well as other cruising destinations. They're just like, I want to be in Greece. Like, there's no need to like cruise anywhere else really. Once you've seen everything, it's like Greece was actually the best spot.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, if I've always said if somebody said, listen, you can pick one country, we'll
Mm.
give you a little sailboat, but you cannot leave that country the rest of your life. You have to stay in that one country. I would pick Greece hands down for sure,
Yeah,
100%. It's a shore. There's amazing stuff away from the islands. There's amazing stuff inland and stuff, but the islands you can't beat. There's so many of them.
yeah,
And you also have different varieties. If you go over northern Ionian, southern Ionian, they're green, they're nice. The Dodecanese, which I'm right next to we sailed past Kos yesterday.
hmm,
It's pretty green in the Dodecanese. The middle, the Aegean, I mean, what I guess stereotypical Greek islands, Mykonos, Ios, Santorini,
yeah,
they're arid, but it's still amazing beauty, so you have
yeah,
so much variety. Last summer, we went up and did the Sporades Islands,
yep.
which are north of Athens,
Hmm.
Skiathos, Skopelos, places like that. Amazing. Yeah, we loved it.
Is
So
Thessaloniki included in those? Is that the same? It's the same area.
Thessaloniki, yeah, Thessaloniki is kind of up north, obviously on the mainland. It's sort
Yeah,
of, you have that area where you have those three little fingers kind of stick down a little bit where Mount
yeah,
Athos is. It's kind of,
yeah.
I think,
Nature
on the west
reserves.
side. I think it's kind of, I have to look at a map, but it's kind
It
of
is on the west
up
side
in
of
that
those.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's on the west side of that. We actually spent a night there on the way here because it was to get to Samos where we had the boat. It was easier flying to, I think we flew to Munich and then Thessaloniki and then Samos the next morning. So
Oh
yeah, we
right.
were there for the night. Yeah. But I've been there before. It's a cool town. They also call it Salonika. Yeah. But very nice. Very nice town.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, the nature reserves, which are just, I think it's on the first finger, which is close to Thessaloniki. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a park anyway. Like
Yeah.
the anchorages there are insane. They're so pretty. Like when we're
Yeah.
in the BVIs, we had the baths where you've got those huge,
Yeah.
massive boulders. They've got one
Yeah.
there also, which looks quite
Oh,
similar, which is
really?
really pretty. It's actually prettier. Yeah.
Yeah, really. I've that's a whole nother part of Greece that I have to just explore when I come back, because
When you arrive back.
I mostly do the typical stuff, and
Mm,
that's why last summer we said, no, we have to go up north and go to the Sporades because, they're off the beaten trail a little bit because they're further north, but
yeah.
they were amazing. Really, really nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Super
loved them.
pretty. Mate, you've got a photo of your missus back there sailing.
Oh yeah, that's her. That's her.
Yeah,
That's her
it's
on
quite
this
nice.
boat in Mykonos, in Majorca. We were coming down the west side. Cala Figuera up north
Yeah.
by Cap Formentera.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was
It's
like
pretty.
right there. But yeah, we love that area. We're crazy, and I'm thinking about buying a second little smaller boat to
Yeah.
have in Majorca. So when
Oh,
we go
just to keep
home,
it there.
yeah, I have a mooring up in Poyensa. It's well protected.
Oh, you've
And
got a
I have
mooring
something.
ball there.
I have my own mooring. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. I put my own mooring down. And I think maybe at some stage the government's going to maybe try to take them all over, but then they'll probably have to rip most of them out because if you're going to make them official, you got to make sure that they're good and
Yeah, they're
strong
safe and
and
strong.
working,
Yeah.
and all of that. So there's a whole nightmare there. But I think it was like a 1 meter slab. A couple of people had done it. I have a buddy who lives in the area, and he found me a diver, and they made the block. Somebody brought it on a truck, put it down. I guess they dumped it off the side of the dock. The diver attached his bags to it, dragged it out to
floated
where
it
we
over.
knew there. Floated over to where we knew there was an empty spot. It's just adjacent to where the travel lift launches the boats.
Right. Okay.
If you've been to Poyensa, like
Yeah,
straight out
we've
from
stayed there.
Yeah. So it's in a good spot. You know, if there's anything southerly, it's protected by the marina.
Yep.
Anything easterly or northeasterly is protected by that little spit of land where Fortaleza, you know, that expensive home there. And then so you're pretty much surrounded by land. You know, there's only a little gap. It's shallow water. I think, you know, we're very close to touching. We might have like this much underneath us, you know, because we draw 2 or 210, and the
same as me.
The mooring's in like 2.5 or something. So we have like this much. We probably touch if there's you know, big swells. But no, we love that. And you can at any time you go up there, no matter what the wind's doing, you can always go find a place where you got some lee, you know. You can go out to
because there's enough little coves and stuff like up there.
Amazing stuff up there, you know. So yeah, we love Poyensa. So we'll probably, you know, buy something smaller, you know, like maybe, I don't know, 28, 30 footer or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
Just go leave it on the mooring. Keep it on the mooring. Friends can use it. And when we're home, I mean, I used to, when I had this boat there, I would just drive up and you could go and just sit on the mooring because you feel like you're at anchor. And you're surrounded by beautiful mountains and everything, right? It's gorgeous. And you could just chill out on the mooring for a weekend if you don't even want to move, you know?
So how would you get to the boat? Like, did you keep a dinghy in the marina there and then you dinghy over, or is there a service that takes people to mooring balls?
No, what it is, my buddy has his boat there also on a mooring. And at first I was renting a mooring from somebody else for like $100 a month. Right. But he would have his tender there. Sometimes I'd just call him up and borrow his tender. But nice. If I didn't want to deal with that because I was going to get on and leave, I would just wave somebody down. Somebody's just just where, you know, where you drive into the parking there, into the marina by the yacht club. So right there, right in front of the restaurants, everyone ties up their tenders. Yeah, and you could see my boat. I'm like, hey, you know, I'll give you $5 for fuel. Just give me a ride to that boat right there. And they're like, yeah, jump in. So I would do that, get on my boat because I'd have my tender on my boat. I didn't want to, because I wouldn't go like every week, you know. Well, I wasn't there regularly. But I actually bought a second tender for that purpose, but ended up giving it to my buddy, and he's using it now. But so if I need a tender up there, I have it. But you know, that was 3 years ago, and I haven't been back for a while. So
yeah, that's cool.
He's looking after the mooring. I think he's got somebody on it now, but eventually I'll go back and put a boat on it. Yeah,
it's good to know that you can still do. You know, there's an awesome restaurant so there's a couple of places you can leave your dinghy. I think the first stop is more common, but there's a couple of really cool restaurants there, and they have singers on like the balconies at the weekends. Like, it's so cool. So it's a very classy area around there. But yeah, there was this one restaurant, and they had like jazz singers singing off the balcony to all the people in the street. I was like, this is so great, this place. It's such a cool spot.
I love Puerto Poyensa. It's amazing. The waterfront there with all the restaurants, and you can walk along the waterfront all the way out to the hotel. I can't remember the hotel out of the corner. It's beautiful. Yeah. Spectacular area.
Spot. I say it would be worth mentioning also, like we've met up a few times actually since we did that first podcast, but then we ended up working together in the BVI. She came to the Odyssey Festival, and you really liked it.
Dude, that was amazing. Yeah. So much fun. I can't wait for the next one.
Well, the next one's in Greece. It's in your favourite country, so you're probably going to love it.
Exactly.
You're on the same boat as well, actually.
Oh, really? Is it
it's
another
the same
50?
one. Yeah, another 50.
Are you organizing any Balis?
There's one Bali.
Bali cats?
Yeah, there's one, and Dan and Kika are taking it because they took a Bali last time. You know, I like the Balis to look at and to stand on.
I like the Balis.
Mate, they're really pretty.
They don't sail well?
Well, yeah.
Do they sail well?
Well, theirs was definitely sailed the best out of the entire fleet that we had. I know that because they, it was pretty noticeable. They were sailing a lot closer to the winds than the FPs in the lagoons. It seemed comfortable, but they were on a 54-foot Bali. That was a 5.4, so it was also the biggest one. Whereas the FPs were like 47, 48, I think, something like that. They're really nice. You know, if I was going to buy a catamaran and it was like I'm just going to stay in the Bahamas or Greece, like that is the one I'd get. They're so nice
I
inside.
I loved it. I mean, I love the lagoon. Lagoon was amazing. I was on a 50 lagoon, a
Yeah, the
beautiful
50
boat.
was cool.
But I went to see those guys on
Mm,
the 54, and
it's
they have that
crazy.
opening back door.
Yeah, yeah, convertible.
So your saloon is kind of outside. So it's a mixture of saloon and cockpit in one area.
Yeah,
That's amazing. And the I think the forward cabins, they point towards the windows on the hull. You know,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The
it's
beds.
beautiful, beautiful
They're
boat.
so. Do you know, like, you can look at a lot of catamarans and you can get the feel that they're going for like an apartment vibe and fitting it
Yeah,
inside something that
yeah,
floats. Where it's
yeah.
like with Bali, it's like 100%. They've gone for like 5-star hotel, en
Yes.
suites for everything, penthouse, like, and they've pulled it off. They make amazing spaces.
They got that solid foredeck.
Yeah.
So you gain all that space. You know, I don't know if that has a downside, but it looks really clever. It looks really, you know, I love the boat. You know, a cat that big, it's too much boat for me. I don't see myself,
Oh
but I
yeah,
would
it's
be
way too
tempted
much.
to. Well, it's a lot of boat, but
Yeah, you
I
need
would
two people
maybe
for
be
that minimum.
tempted. Yeah, for sure. I would be maybe tempted to go with like the Bali, I think it's the 40 or 42 cat space. So it's got that opening back,
Yes.
has a little fly bridge, you know,
Yeah.
and the steering station's elevated like that. To me, that would be the, you know, with the whole one hull just for the owner, for
Yeah.
me, basically, and then two more cabins on the port side or whatever. Yeah, that you could have friends come, or if you wanted to do some charter. To me, especially like you said, in the Bahamas
Mm.
or Greece, you know,
Yeah, it'd
I
be
think it'd be
perfect.
amazing.
I wouldn't like
Yeah,
to
like
cross. You know, like with the deck, with obviously like with it having a solid deck and no trampolines. I think on the smaller ones it might be an issue because they're quite low down to the water anyway. It looks like you've only got about half a meter clearance, but on that big 5.4, like Dan and Kiko were sending us videos when we had that day when we were smashing into like we were going.
yes, I
I
remember
think you
that
had
day.
like 45 on your boat. I think
Well,
you got the highest wind.
yeah, I think we were definitely up to 40 for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. It was a bit hectic.
Yeah, it was, mate. There was some rough. We broke those boats fully. We really broke those
But
boats.
we were really pushing to get to Marina Key, wasn't it? We were trying to
Yeah,
get up to
yeah,
Marina Key, which was amazing,
yeah.
you
But
know?
well, we had but that was the night when we had the parties actually, and you were
Yeah,
on the dock, and we were on the dock, and
yeah,
Laura was as well.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, they sent me some videos of like just nosing straight into like 40 knots,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it wasn't like smacking or smashing.
Because it had the clearance. I've been
Got
looking
the
at them
clearance
around
because it's big.
here, and they're the bottom of the foredeck or that area, it
Mm,
kind of slants up, and then it's got a little bit of a V in it. So I
yes.
don't know, but for extra space, because you have another cockpit up there, you know, it's
So
very clever.
I think they call it the cocktail area.
Yeah,
Which it
perfect.
is. It's just like a
Yeah,
separate little. I think there was a refrigerator in there and stuff as well. But you know what's
yeah,
so cool about those is because you can open the back up and close it, you've got way more interior space than any other type of cat. Because like on the lagoons that we had, you've got a huge external area. So you've
yeah.
literally got like a winter catamaran and a summer catamaran maximized of space for like all year
Yeah.
round. You just open and close that thing. It's such a good idea.
I don't know anything else about how they sail or anything like that, but being able to open that and have that one big space, and the side windows slide forward also.
Yeah.
So you're not just the back, you have like a wrap around your outside from
Yeah.
the saloon. It's amazing. I love the concept.
Oh, and also because the double doors open at the front, where you walk through into like the cocktail area, you avoid what you get on a lot of catamarans, which is when you go into the outdoor space at the back, you've got no wind movement at all, so you can be in like
Exactly.
heavy wind, but it's stale. It's too hot. You haven't got any breeze. With there, you've got the breeze like gushing through that catamaran. It's so nice.
Exactly. We kind of occasionally have the same problem on Parsifal when it's stinking hot and
Mm,
you're in the cockpit and there's no air. The air is just blowing down the side decks and doesn't actually get deflected into the cockpit. Same kind of problem. It can get stale. But yeah, with that door open, and I think they're like by the galley, there's another big opening, window that you can get a lot of flow straight through the boat, which is really nice in the tropics to keep everything cool. So I love that boat. I love that. They have another one called 38 Cat Smart. I don't think it's got any kind of fly bridge or lounge area up top. It's still, I think, the elevated steering, which is also really interesting. For me, because it's a cat, I want to go smaller,
Yeah, 40 foot is the maximum I'd want for a cat, actually.
Because otherwise it's
way big enough.
They're big enough.
Way big enough. Yeah.
Yeah. What are the ones from Poland, the Sunreefs? They're amazing, both beautiful, these giant cats. But
I think the smallest one they do is like 55 or something.
Yeah, but it's like an apartment block. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Have you seen the big one, the eco electric, where the whole boat is solar panels? Have you seen this?
I saw one in Didim just now, one that had solar panels. I don't know if it was that one, but it looked like a Sunreef, but it had solar panels all over. I forget the name of it. I took note because
might be a Sunreef.
Yeah, they're kind of mounted in, which a little bit.
They're built into the fiberglass. The resin,
what happens if they die and you got to change the solar?
You have to chisel them out. You have to chisel the boat.
Yeah. That doesn't sound like fun. But no. I like the idea of having as many solar panels as you can fit on the boat. They're horizontal or vertical on the side. So I'm not sure how much exposure they're getting, some of them. But they're all over. They're all over the house. But even on the hulls, on the side of the hulls, like almost down to the water. There's solar panels,
it's the full thing. I mean, you'd get a lot of reflection as well off the water, which would be pretty useful for it. My mate Bryce, who also has the same boat as me, who's from Canada, who follows you online and all that as well, is a really, really nice guy. He was just working on one out of Port Ginesta near Barcelona. And I said to him, I was like, oh, they're amazing, but like, what happens if the solar panels break? And he was like, yeah, you need to chisel them out of the hull. I was like, that is a stupid idea. You just forget the boat at that point.
Not the greatest idea. I saw, because I noticed another YouTube channel that I follow, Ruby Rose, and I think they have, theirs aren't like built in, but they're attached very tightly to the house anyway.
It's like they're molded in a way.
Molded into the house, and they were starting to see little bits of burn on the top, and so they may have to change them out. So that was an issue that they're dealing with also. But theirs aren't like, I don't think you have to chisel them out, but it's something to think about. And now solar panels are so inexpensive that if they die after a couple of years, you just I've got two 175s that I just bought, the flexible kinds, and they were like $200 each on Amazon.
What brand are they?
Renogy.
They're the same as mine. The 175s from Renogy are brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I love them. I mean, they're pumping out a lot of juice right now.
A lot.
I've got to upgrade my batteries. I'm still on AGMs, and I've only got like 350 amp hours of AGMs, and I think they've been trashed a little bit. So I've only got about a usable amp hours of maybe 120, 130. And with the fridge on all the time and watching movies at night, I got a 43-inch screen right here.
I can see it.
I watch YouTube, I watch sailing channels on YouTube and the news and blah, blah, blah. And then we put on a movie or a couple episodes of a TV show. And that's pretty much every night. So,
that's not going to get you far.
No, I want to go lithium. I'm in talks with somebody who's supposed to send me like 700-800 amp hours of lithium.
That'll be good.
But I definitely, are you lithium on your boat?
Yeah, we've got 900 of Superbee, 900 amp hours of Superbee. Matt, the lowest we ever had them, well, in normal cruising conditions, the lowest we've ever had those batteries is like 74%. And we're like inverter heavy. We've got like the electronic hob. We've always got the TV on. We're not trying to save energy at all.
I see what looks like an AC vent behind you. You have AC also?
Yeah, the we've got a big inverter, so yeah, there's 5 AC units. They're the old ones, the big like 2-part AC units, like the split
Right?
units. So they're kind of crap. I think I want to upgrade those in the future, actually. But I'll just get one and put it in like the aft cabin, just so you can cool down one
Yeah.
cabin. You don't need the full boat cold. That's silly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're going to do. If we get enough capacity on the lithium,
mm.
then we'll probably put like a 5 or 7 thousand BTU
Yeah.
just for the aft cabin.
Oh, easy, mate. It's perfect.
12 volt with a 12-volt pump that can run
Yeah,
off even if you only just cool it down before you go to bed and then use
that's all you
fans. Like
need.
I've got 5 of those fans that are just over your head there.
This same
The
one,
Caframos. Yeah, I've got
they're
5 of
so
those.
good.
Very good. Yeah, I love them. I love them. I think it's actually maybe a Canadian company.
Is
I
it?
have a I have a suspicion. I don't know if they
Sirocco.
make them in
Sirocco.
Canada, but Scirocco. Yeah, I think the company name is Caframo and the model is the Scirocco.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
I suspect that they're making, and I might be wrong on that, but anyway, they're amazing. I love those. I love those. You can even set a timer on them, right? There's a little timer.
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
can
never
set them
use
to
a
turn
timer
on.
because we
No,
like,
I never use
but
that either.
but right now I can't believe it's April because during the day it's like summer over here. And it's
Oh man,
been
it's
like
freezing
that
in Spain now. Costa del Sol's.
really,
Yeah, it's terrible weather considering we're getting into May. Yeah.
really. No, we came here in March and I had a Webasto
You
diesel
got a heater
heater.
installed.
Well, no, I have a heater on board. So
Right.
my idea, I bought it last year, and during the summer, you don't even thinking about heating the boat,
Yeah.
right? But I figured I'd come in March. I was planning to come beginning of March, and I thought, okay, that's going to be a good incentive to put this Webasto in. But
Never
like,
used it.
we have a little Dyson, and we were on shore power in the marina. I mean, the
Oh,
shipyard.
same.
So we used the Dyson for a few days, and it was getting cold at night
Yeah.
and in the morning. But like a week after we arrived, towards the end of March, it's been like summer since. Like
Oh, no way.
it's right now inside, it's 28 degrees inside the boat right now. Outside, it might be 25. I don't know. But
Oh gosh.
we've seen 32 like a week ago, and it's April.
Man, that's
It's
crazy.
it's
We've been having like
crazy.
14,
It's
15 here
crazy.
during the day. Like it's been
No, no,
horrible.
no. I think we had a couple cold days or a couple rainy days, but no, it's been, it's definitely full spring. It's
Mm,
since we've been here in mid-March, it's mostly full spring. So it's crazy. So
brilliant.
we plan to stay on board until maybe even through November. We got off at end of October last year, but it was still beautiful weather. So
Yeah, we were good till November last year.
yeah, we might cruise through November, like not cruise, but hang out somewhere.
Yeah.
But by then the nights will probably be getting cold, and maybe I'll put in the Webasto. But I plan to install it myself. And
Yeah,
I
they're
got so
so
many
good though. They're
projects.
useful to have.
Do you have one?
No, I need one. There was one on the boat previously, and I think it was taken out because there's ducting that leads to nothing for the aft cabins. So I'm pretty sure there was a heater in there, and there is actually another inlet in the diesel tank. So I'm pretty sure there was one in at one point. I
Well,
think we
then it
might get one for the winter because, like, especially if we get to Greece, I think we'd want to spend the winter on anchor. A lot of people do that, mate. A lot of people
yeah,
anchor over the winter in
yeah,
Greece. I've realised.
yeah. If you've got that Webasto, I mean,
Mm,
as long as you probably don't even need it for the saloon, but if you can heat the cabin before you get out of, like, we sleep cold. We love cold. When we're
yeah.
last summer when we were in Marina, we have this little rolling air conditioner, like $300 from Leroy
Oh, the
Merlin, right?
stand-up ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just stick the hose out the hatch, right?
Yeah.
For the exhaust hot air.
Hmm.
We would sleep with that cranked up in the aft cabin and like 3 blankets on us. We love to sleep
Yeah, I'm the
warm
same, mate.
in a cold room. We love it. We
Yeah.
like in Palma just now in February, we'd open the door at night, to the outside and just
Yeah.
have lots of
Let the
blankets.
fresh air
So
come in.
yeah, we love the fresh air. Cold fresh air is nice to sleep. But if you've already got all the hoses run and the takeoff from the diesel tank, that's
Mm.
going to be an easy install. Pretty
Well,
easy.
I just considered a project last night, and I'd had quite a lot to smoke as well. So, but I thought about it again this morning. I think it was still a good idea. So, we've got a massive, like, 8 kilowatt generator in this boat, which is 20 years old, and it's causing me some problems. And I might need to put a bit of cash into it. And we basically didn't use it last year. So I'm actually thinking of literally taking this Cummins generator and just disposing of it. Then we've got a massive pantry that can go underneath. And then just getting one of those, do you know the portable mini generators you can get, like the 2 kilowatt ones, the silent ones?
The Honda ones, like the gasoline?
Similar. Yeah.
Just gasoline, not diesel.
Gasoline. Yeah, because they're super quiet.
I have one. I have a little Honda.
They're so good. So I'm thinking, get rid of this stupid old generator. I've got loads of storage space. Then I'll use a little, Honda EU22, whatever, just to charge up the batteries if it's necessary.
That's what I have. That's
what you do.
Yeah. No, I haven't actually used it yet. It's in the locker.
All right. Okay.
I haven't needed it. But when I kind of started using the boat more and working less on Parsifal, I started buying all this stuff that I thought I would want to have, like the heater. I've got a brand new Victron multi-plus charger inverter. Nice. I still have to install that, because I've got an inverter and I've got a charger, but they're not Victron.
They're two separate. Right.
Yeah, okay, and I want everything on Victron so I can just keep track of everything. Like I can keep track of my solar panels, my shunt, and everything else. I've got the GX, the Servo GX with the little 7-inch panel, so you can see. Oh, everything. Nice. So once I have the charger inverter on that system, I'll be able to track everything from the phone. And
Victron
I've got
good for that.
Yeah, I've got a router, so I can keep track of it from home. I don't even have to be on the boat. And I just found an app last night because I've been thinking about it. It's an Anchor app, which Anchor alarm app. Mm-hmm. It's very clever because it's a subscription, which I'm not that keen on, but it's only like $20 a year. But if you have it on 2 devices, right, and you have Wi-Fi in your boat, then you say, for example, you leave it on the iPad and you go ashore, and it will send notices you can monitor everything from your second device. And what's it called? Yeah, it's I'll hang on.
Mate, WhatsApp it to me.
Yeah, hang on. Let me see. I just got it last night. I haven't even signed up. I'm gonna start off with the monthly and see if I like it. And then if I
20
like
a year, that's so cheap.
Yeah, I think it's like $2 or $3 a month. But hang on a second. It's called Hooked.
Hooked. All right. I'm definitely looking into that.
And if it actually works, it's perfect because I've been trying to think, I can see everything. I have cameras inside the boat. I have cameras in the cockpit. I can see all that from anywhere. But I was like, how do I get position? And this thing not only gives me position, it'll send me an alarm if I drag anchor.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want the notification.
I've got what do you call it? The AirPods on everything, my bags, my keys, and
I've just started doing that.
I lost my wallet yesterday. It took us like an hour to find it because when I'm sailing, when I'm sailing, I just take it on my back pocket. I chuck it down by the chart table, and it bounced. It bounced in behind the AIS. And I couldn't find it. We searched everywhere. I was like, shit, did I lose it? So I think I'm going to maybe put one in my wallet, although it's a bit thick. But I have air tags on everything. Like my dinghy's got an air tag. My outboard's got an air tag. The boat
I'll need to cut this out because I'm about to say where I put mine. And then I'm like, everybody will know now.
No, exactly. Cut it out.
Yeah, I'm cutting that out, definitely. I put it in the hood of my outboard. It's really good.
Yeah, no, I just taped one inside my outboard and I just stuck one in between the tubes and the hull and my rib. But the people who listen to podcasts probably don't steal stuff, hopefully. But maybe cut it out to be safe. Steal them. Or cut parts of it out to be safe. But I have iPods and it works. I mean, when I travel, I lost my bags once flying back to Palma. I went through Madrid, right? And I was checking it on the phone. And then I got to Palma and it was still in Madrid. And I went up to the counter and I said, my bag never showed up on the turnstile. And she said, she pushed me this form and then just ignored me. And I'm saying, hang on a second. My bag is right here. Look where it is. Yeah. You get somebody there, pick it up. I want it on the next flight. And they got it to me that night. Otherwise, it probably would have been days. You know what I mean?
For them to track it down and stuff. Yeah, it would have been made.
And the airlines don't want you to put air tags in your bags because they don't want you to know.
They don't want the hassle.
how they screwed up. And know more about the situation than they did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, when we're in the BVIs, they lost our bags, Air France, so we didn't have any stuff for like the first 4 days. But anyway, when we got on the small plane from St. Martin, I think it was St. Martin to BVI with Dan and Kika, they AirTag all of their bags. They actually checked when they got on the plane if their bag was in the airplane, and they showed me, and I was like, "Oh right, okay, yeah, that's really useful." Like, did I not know that my bag was literally not on that plane? It'd been left.
It's amazing. Like if somebody goes by in a tender, even at anchor, somebody goes by in a tender with an iPhone in their pocket,
it pings.
I get an up. Yeah, it's in the system. It doesn't tell me about it unless I check.
But it's there.
You can see where you are. But I'm going to try this app. I'll let you know if it works, and we'll give these guys Hooked a little plug, and
Yeah, mate. If they've done an anchor alarm that's good, like fair play to them, because most of them are really shit. Like most of the anchor apps I've found are not good.
Well,
none of them do notifications.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, I use this one. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Anchor Alarm, simple anchor alarm. And I love that app. I use it all the time. It's perfect. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't work on two devices and let you check from shore the position of your boat. That's the only. If they change that, I would keep using this, because I think I paid for it once, like $5 or something. Yeah. Even if it were a subscription, I would pay for it, because it's a great app. But if this Hooked is as good, because with this one, I can set it after I anchor. So you anchor.
Mate, that's what I was about to say about the one you just referenced. Unless you drop it when you're anchoring, it's very difficult to like position your anchor after you've anchored on the app. Do you know what I mean?
The one that I have, this one here, I don't know what Hooked is like, but Anchor Alarm is perfect. It's called late set. Here, I'll show it to you. So I've got the pro version. So you just hit start special, and then you choose which one. And you choose one. I always put late set. And then all I do is just point it. I know where my anchor is because the wind hasn't changed. I do it like moments after I anchor, right? I don't have to do it while I'm dropping, but I stand in the cockpit. I sleep directly below the cockpit, and that's where my phone lives.
Yeah, that's useful.
It's very, very accurate. And so I just say, okay, it's 35. It's 5 meters of water. I put out 35 and subtract the 5, add the 12 meters. So I go 47, bang. That creates a circle.
And it's always accurate.
You decide whether, if it starts to lose accuracy because maybe if you're on a metal boat or whatever, it can't get through the hull, it'll tell you that the GPS position accuracy is diminished. It'll tell you that. But no, and every time I leave an anchorage, I always forget to turn it off. So when I get about 40 meters from where I anchored, it starts barking at me or alarming, whatever sound I've chosen. It's amazing. I love it. It's really cool.
Well,
it'll wake you up,
Yeah, I'm going to wait for your review of that new one, because I've got Starlink on the boat now. So, we're constantly going to have... mate, I got all of those cameras as well, like to put all around the boat. And I got one of the outdoor cameras. I can't remember which brand it is, but it's like a weather-resistant one that works off Wi-Fi also. So I was thinking about sticking it up the mast. Because if we're sailing at night, I can literally, because we've got Starlink, I can just like take a look out from the mast to see what's
definitely. I get 2 in the cockpit. Exactly. I get 2 in the cockpit and 1 swivel pan swivel in the saloon. I'm using Blink, which is owned by Amazon.
Oh, that's what these are. They're Blink.
Yeah. Well, the outside ones, the outdoor ones, they have the little base unit. But their batteries last like 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I love them. The only thing is, when I was in LA for the show just recently, I bought a couple more, but they're region locked. American ones don't work in Europe.
Well, I bought mine from the UK. I hope they work in Europe. I've not tried installing them yet.
They're super. I know. I'm like, come on, guys. Why would you region lock a camera? I mean, I guess most people use it in their home or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I think I bought the new Outdoor 4, which is a little bit better. And maybe it's not available in Europe yet. And they're mostly for homes, but it's perfect for boats. I mean, just leave them free. Mine are cable tied, just cable tied to the Dodger and the Bimini. And you can just position them. So it's perfect. I can look at them anytime and see what's going on. I have similar things in my house too, so I can see my apartment when I'm away and all that. Yeah,
we've got. Well, we don't. We're out of the house anymore, but yeah.
I'm totally Internet of Things. Like I have all the Philips Hue lights and stuff come on automatically when you come home, and you go in the kitchen at night and the lights pop on while you're in there. They turn off when you leave. It's very cool. Yeah. But I think I'm going to do this, make the boat, try to make the boat like that. But I think it's hard to find, without buying an extra module, something that will put coordinates, like position, into the system. Because I've just got like do you have anything yacht devices? I think it's called Yacht devices.
No, but I know what you're talking about. They do AIS
digital,
and stuff like that.
Digital yacht. Digital yacht. I have yacht devices also on my Ray Marine. I've got a little barometer. So whenever I'm doing my log, I've got a little barometer readout on the chart plotter. So I'm doing my log. I can set up my Ray Marine for give me everything on there while I'm doing the log, because I sit and do the log every hour, right? Yeah. And I just have all the information there, like the daily log, the odometer log, all that stuff, wind, blah blah blah. But you can buy these little devices that plug straight into the Ray Marine CTOC. They're not NMEA, they're Ray Marine. You can get them both. So they're very easy. You just plug them in, that's it, they're done. I've got one that's tracker, voyage tracker. So it keeps track of everything that it's reading from the Ray Marine, like wind direction, depth, heading, speed, and then
the entire trip
forever. It's just constantly working.
It's just constantly recording it.
Wow. They need to have a better way to get it off, because you have to take the little data card out and put it in a computer and then open it on Excel or Google Earth or something like that. You can see your track. Yeah, but it'd be better if you could somehow do it live,
like a Bluetooth or something, even.
So, a Bluetooth from an app. But I've got the digital yacht 4G.
I've got a friend who's got that. Yeah, they put them on the back of your boat.
Perfect. Yeah, mine's inside. Mine's just, I'll show it to you. It's a mess, but you see it over there in the corner by the whiteboard.
Oh, I thought you had to put them outside.
No, I mean, you can, and you can get extended antennas and stuff like that. But what I use it for is the 4G, right? I get in Greece, it's unlimited 4G. Here in Turkey, you can get like 200 gig. You stick the SIM in, it broadcasts Wi-Fi. So it's just like being at home with Wi-Fi. Yeah. You know? So it's perfect. And that's what I use to check the battery status, to check the cameras, to check all that. It's all on that Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So you've always got that in there.
Yeah. So it's like having a home Wi-Fi network. The TV is all connected to that. So if I'm watching Netflix or, YouTube at night, you just turn it on, it's connected. I haven't gone the route of I have a Starlink, but I'm not using it because they chew up quite a bit of juice.
Oh, I've not noticed actually.
Well, you've got 800 amp hours, so you probably wouldn't notice. But
we've not been on Anchor since I've installed it, so we're still on shore power. So I've not really noticed how much it draws.
Yeah, and I think right now it works in Greece, but in Turkey it doesn't work. It's not approved in Turkey yet. But also, I was watching a video the other day where you can drill a little hole in the back of it and reach in and disconnect the motor that moves it, because it doesn't need to move.
I've heard people have done this.
Yeah,
and apparently that's better as well if it just points straight up, because you're more likely to get the satellites communicated with easier.
Exactly, because it's not like gyro stabilized like VSAT or anything. It's not tracking a stationary satellite. It's funny, when I was in Skopelos, I think last year, I was walking down the dock. I'm a bit of a boat nerd, so when I'm in a port or marina, I just walk around looking at boats for fun. Anyway, so I was walking back to my boat, and I looked up and I saw this thing going across the sky. I had no idea what it was. It was like 25 lights in a row going across the sky. I was like, "What the hell is?" I videoed it, and then I found out later it was a Starlink launch, and the
very common,
satellites. I know. I didn't know that at the time, but it was a very cool thing. I thought I was seeing like aliens or something.
It looks like it. Like you would be scared.
Like the mothership or something. Massive.
Like they're coming in a line. When we crossed last year, because we brought the boat from Greece and then we came back to Spain, we must have seen them like 3 or 4 times going through the sky at night. And it's amazing because you watch them go in a straight line, then all of a sudden you see them separate and take off.
Ah,
And they
really?
go to like their set destinations. And
Yeah.
that's so
Crazy.
cool. It's such cool
Very,
technology.
very cool. Yeah. I was like, wow, what the hell is that? But what was I going to say? They just came out with a new Starlink dish.
A bigger one.
Yeah. Well, I think there's one model that's about the same size, but it doesn't have the motor built in at all. It's just it has a little stand and you just set it up and that's it for RVs and homes and stuff like that. And
right, maybe
I think
for houses.
and I think they have a cruising boat program now, like a cruising boat. Like most people just get the RV package.
Rome.
But I think there's a cruising boat. It's a little more expensive. I think it's like 150 a month. But
it'll let you go offshore.
Off you go, yeah. Well, people were crossing the Atlantic on the RV one and they weren't paying attention and they were like, whatever. But then people, they came out with a super yacht one. And the super yacht's like 2 dishes and some other stuff, but it's like $5,000 a month.
Yeah, I heard that.
Then they're giving you, guaranteed 100 or 200 meg or whatever it is. But when I use mine, I just sat it on the cockpit table under the bimini when I went from Positano, Amalfi area down to the Aeolian Islands, and it worked the whole way, no problem.
Nice.
100 to 200 meg the whole way. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic, mate. Yeah, it is really good. I mean, to be honest, like Europe isn't that bad for internet anyway. Like, obviously, if you go offshore, once you leave land, you're not going to get 5G. Yeah. But even in Greece, which is a pretty remote country, really, like as far as the islands are concerned, you still get 5G internet on the islands. Like, it's brilliant.
Oh yeah. Last summer we bought 2 or 3 SIMs, and I think we had Vodafone, and they have in programs Greece, in the summer. Yeah, and you get like unlimited.
They have summer tariffs.
Unlimited for like $20 a month.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Right now, I think we're paying 30, 35 for 200 gig. And that's to use in a month, So it's
that's plenty enough.
It's the way to go.
I think Starlink is like super useful for cruises in like the Caribbean or the Pacific. Because from when we went to the BVIs and stuff, like those data cards are just absolute rip-off. Like the prices are stupid.
Exactly. So for the Caribbean, it's a must, I reckon, Starlink for sure.
Yeah.
I'll definitely, when I get there in the Bahamas and all that, for sure I'll have it. And you're doing more stuff where you're further away from islands. But here in Greece, you're always within range of an island,
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, mate, it would be worth talking about Below Deck because, like, a lot of the people who listened to the last one, I found out were Below Deck fans. They were asking some bizarre questions.
All right, go ahead.
So, what's going on with the your reality TV career now?
Well,
with all that,
there's normally if I do a podcast and we're talking about Below Deck, I contact somebody that I work with at NBC and I get it approved first. So there's certain things I can't talk about, certain things I can. But what I can say is season 5 has been filmed. It was announced that I was at BravoCon in Las Vegas last, I think, October. And the network, because they decide when it gets announced, they said, it's coming. We don't know when. Below Deck original has just been on. They're coming to the end, and we thought we might slot in after them, but we weren't sure. But it looks like they're slotting Med in after original, because there's 4 shows now, and I think they're trying to figure out the schedule. Last
are the other shows all motorboats still? You're still the only sailboat captain.
We're the only sailboat. Yeah, we're the
okay.
Yeah. Unless they're out filming another one that I don't know about, which I don't think so. But we're the only sailboat. But there's Down Under, which is a motor yacht. There's Original, which is a motor yacht, which is the captain who used to be Carrie's a buddy of mine. He used to be on Adventure, which they only filmed 1 season. I don't know what's happening with that, but he's taken over from Captain Lee, who did like 10
Captain
seasons.
Lee was like the original.
He was the guy who started. He's the one who started it all on the motorboat. And so the year before, I think season 9, maybe. No, season 10.
For a long time. Flip it out.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like started in 2013. Captain Sandy, who's on the Med Motor Yacht Show, she went in to help him out because he had health issues. And I think in the end, he ended up not going back for season 11, and they asked
Right.
Carrie. So Carrie's on season 11. And that's all I can say as far as that. But if you have any questions about the stuff that has happened on shows that aired back, behind the scenes, I can talk about that.
Well,
but I don't know what's happening for the future. I hope that there are many more years of it. From my social media and the people, my followers, I guess you could say, on social media, they're anxious. They want it to come out. They want to see it. I think because of the sailing, you get a certain fan base. I definitely think cruisers. I meet a lot of cruisers. At the yacht, the marina I was at, the people at the front desk. Oh, you're Captain Glenn, and they were all in Turkey because it's on Netflix in Turkey now.
Yeah.
So they get all excited. But I think people who sail, like proper, sailboats, they really like the sailing yacht. Because they can identify.
It's a stunning boat, mate. Like when it was in
beautiful boat.
I think it was in Denia. Yeah, we met you in Denia. That's when it was there. It's like because do you know what I really love about that boat? It's like it looks like a classic boat in some ways. Like from certain angles, it does look like some type of classic boat rather than a big, massive, super yacht. It's just so beautiful. But when the sails go up on that, like I don't watch Below Deck, but I watch the stuff that you put online because you share some stuff and like. Yeah. When the sails go up on that and it catches the wind, I'm like, oh my God. Mate, if you ever get the opportunity to invite a British person on your boat to mess around
I'll definitely. Yeah, but like I have been on rotation the last couple of years. Soon after Below Deck started airing, I said, I want to take more time. I'm getting on in age, want to use my boat, before I get too old to use it. So I've been working less. And then this past winter, I didn't really work at all. I'm kind of on standby as a relief captain. The other captain's kind of been looking after it. The boat didn't go to the Caribbean this winter. She's actually in Denia doing work on the rig and stuff like that. Yeah, she was in Denia when we met, and then we went out and did last summer.
You did a season.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did a season.
And is that the one that's going to air shortly? The one that you recorded last year?
Yeah, that's the one that's coming up. That's
coming up next. Right, okay.
Yeah, that's the one that's coming up next. And yeah. But she didn't go to the Caribbean this winter because of, I think, the rig work and some other stuff. She will be going next winter for sure, but she'll be out cruising in the Med this summer. As far as season 6, I have no idea what's going to happen. I think the network has to figure out how they're going to schedule stuff, and then they will decide. But I hope the show continues. It seems to be quite popular. A lot of people really, the show in general, Below Deck, is quite popular and doing well. But especially sailing also is quite popular. So I hope it continues for, a few more years at least. I really enjoy doing it. It's weird to be on television. It's weird to have cameras in your face. But I don't know if you've worked on any super yachts, but you get so busy after a while, you kind of forget about the cameras and you just get on with doing the job. And that's kind of what it's like. It's an interesting experience. It's a little more complicated because when there are no cameras, you're 100% focused just on the guests and giving them the best time possible. When there are cameras, you're still focused on that. You're still running a charter boat, but you also have to contend with the camera production people coming onto the boat, getting off the boat, because they don't stay on the boat, right? They all go home at night. They all go. We don't have cabins for them.
Yeah, because there's not that many cabins on that boat, actually.
No, all our cabins are being used. All the guest cabins are being used. All the crew cabins are being used. So they can't stay on board. But there is some logistics involved with getting them safely on and off the boat and getting them.
So you have to dinghy them to shore every night. They're staying in Airbnbs or hotels or something.
The production care of that. It's not my responsibility.
Right.
It's not the boat crew's responsibility.
Right.
To we assist them on and off the boat like we would anyone coming onto the boat, but we don't take them ashore in our tender. That's all handled from the production side. So it's like two different worlds. We kind of interact as much as we're doing our jobs in the same space, but we're not like, when I get up in the morning, I don't say hello to the cameramen. They're like flies on the wall. They don't want us to say hello. They don't want us to acknowledge the camera. It's like, no, you know what I mean? Imagine somebody on stage.
I'd be so uncomfortable with that.
Saw their cousin in the audience and said, hey, Jim, I haven't seen you. You're not breaking character. You're doing your job, and that's it. So when we come out, like, I say good morning to the guy who comes in and puts my mic on, because until I'm mic, they can't really use anything, But as soon as he leaves, as soon as he walks out of the cabin and I come out, that's it. It's just all business.
You can't acknowledge them. That's crazy.
They're there. Well, they don't want us to, because if I say hi to the cameraman, they can't use that footage.
Yes, you might have ruined the footage. Actually, it might have been good otherwise.
And I've wasted their time. I've wasted everybody's time. So they don't want us to acknowledge them or anything like that. Obviously, if there's a safety issue, that's different. Then we'll deal with whatever. A couple of times they'll slide down the steps and we'll help them, and then just get straight back to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because they work hard, those guys, and we want to let them do their job. And they let us do our job. So
there's a lot goes into it. Like, me and Colin have spoke about it as well, and like Colin, like, was an engineer on your boat and stuff like that. Like, it sounds like there's so much. I love
Colin.
Yeah, he's in New Zealand now.
He has been. I don't know if he's still there, because his episodes come out a little bit later. But did you see the footage of him on the Canadian SailGP boat? They took him out racing, not racing, but sailing.
Pete.
Colin went out on the Canadian SailGP boat.
Yeah. It looked wild.
Sailed around at full speed. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's good, man. I look at though. I appreciate it. It's like F1, isn't it? Like, it's a car, but it's not a car.
F1. It's not a car.
Do you know what I mean? It's a similar thing. Like, that's a sailboat, but at the same time, I am not getting on that. Like, I am not going on one of them.
I think it's sort of like going on the space shuttle. It's dangerous, but I'd still want to do it. And I think it's the same thing. If they asked me to go, I think I would go. But I could see Colin was like, he loved it. But his heart was pumping, and he was like freaked out because
Colin's a chilled cruiser.
You're doing like 40 knots.
Yeah, mate, you have to wear a helmet. That's enough.
You wear a helmet. You have a breathing device. You have protection all over your body, flotation. And he said the G-forces were incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I just watched them because SailGP Canada, they have a YouTube channel also, or they release stuff. And I just watched that last night about the last regatta in New Zealand, which they did well. Good on them. They made it to the final, which is really good. And I think last year they won the New Zealand event. But I had some involvement with the Canadian team. I went out to see them in San Francisco because I was buddies with the guy who started the team, or I knew the guy who started the team. But yeah, great people, and I wish them all the best. I'm always rooting for the Canadians, naturally. But I'm amazed that they're doing as well as they're doing, because they're a relatively new team.
Relatively new, yeah.
And they're kicking butt. Phil Robertson, I haven't met him. Actually, I didn't meet him at the event, but I met him at another event in Montreal. Great guy. And he's ballsy as far as like starts and maneuvers and stuff. I mean, he's a go-getter, huh? I'm really impressed. So they have an event in Montreal, Halifax this June. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, but I definitely want to go see more of the events. And of course, I want to go to Barcelona for some of the America's Cup. Yeah, I
was going to ask, actually, not on the podcast, but I was going to ask anyway. You're going to be doing that, because I know a few people who were planning on being there for it.
I want to be there. I'm not going to be able to bring Avalon. It's too far.
Yeah, it's a long way.
But I hope to at some point, maybe before the actual America's Cup, maybe during the Challenger Series in September.
Okay.
I think we have to go back to Palma for a little bit. So maybe we'll shoot over to Barcelona. I just want to see the what are the F-75s or whatever they're called. I want to see them flying. I've seen the SailGP flying the F-50s, but I want to see these AC-75s. I want to see them flying. I mean, that would be amazing. I'm watching it constantly, nonstop, and all the updates, all the boats that are being launched now, and I think almost all of them are in the water or out of the shed. And have you seen any of the hulls and stuff? I mean, it's just
I've been looking at a lot of the footage, mate. Like even how much do they actually cost to build? Like, you must be talking,
I don't know,
closer to 10 million, something like that, easy.
I don't know if it's quite that high. I mean, to run a team is probably $500 million, or a couple $100 million.
Is it?
Yeah, like the whole team is massive, but the boat itself, maybe because they're so unique, maybe they are 10 million. I was thinking more like 5, but I don't know. I mean, people who are going to build that boat can ask pretty much anything, because where else are you going to go? Yeah. I mean, I think the cost of the boat is a small part of the program, but the boats are phenomenal. Phenomenal. I can't wait to see them start racing, you know?
Yeah, mate, it's a massive operation, just like the logistics, moving them around, getting the teams moving around, all that type of stuff, getting them in and out of the water. Like, they're so massive, all the cranes that are required. It's such a big thing.
It's such a big thing. I actually worked on an America's Cup team back in 99. We built 2 boats in Honolulu. I was living there at the time. It was called Aloha Racing.
Oh, nice.
I think the boats are still out there. Larry Ellison bought one of them. It was yeah, it was what was it? Was USA 50 and 54 were the boats. They were the ones with I don't know if you ever heard of this guy Weiland. He used to paint whaling walls. So he's like an artist who paints the whole side of a building with a giant whale on the side. Okay. And so he donated painting, and so the boats have like whales and dolphins. Got his art on it. Yeah, it's amazing. Beautiful artwork. But these were the IACCs, you know, or AICCs. They were, of course, they were just normal monohulls, no foiling or anything like that. Old school, you know, which were amazing. I kind of missed that, to be honest.
Yeah, I appreciate watching it more because I can actually relate to it, whereas I can't with a lot of the stuff in like SailGP, for example. That's like a foreign object to me.
It's as much flying as it is sailing. Yeah. But I think SailGP is amazing because it's basically an F1 circuit on flying sailboats, which is, I think, great. Foiling 75-foot monohulls, you know, the way it's cool. I love it. It's an amazing sport, and I don't know if it's America's Cup though. You're always close hauled, no matter whether you're upwind or down. You can't tell if they're going upwind or downwind. You can't tell by looking at the boat if they're going upwind or downwind. They're always close hauled because the apparent is so high, you know? Yeah. It's cool, but I don't know if it's worth waiting 4 years for. I think I would, you know, they have these intermediate events, which is really cool, but I'm kind of a little old school because I'm a sailor. I think what SailGP and the new America's Cup boats, it's about appealing to a larger audience, not just sailors. I think
so. I think more the general like sport audience, like they're trying to capture a bit of F1, you know, like the Red Bull crowd maybe, all that type of stuff. I think that's what they're going for.
Which is great. I think that's great to bring more people in. But, you know, I'd like to see spinnakers again. I like to see
you couldn't see those on them.
real-time grinding and tacking duels. You see some tacking duels in it, but not really the same kind of thing because they're going too fast.
They're going too fast. It'll be too dangerous, mate.
Too dangerous. Yeah. I love it. You know, maybe somebody would bring back in the IACCs or the even the, what do you call it, the 12-meter rule, you know, and bring back they had done, I think, a little bit of that in the past, to have a regatta a little bit old school, because I kind of miss that, you know.
It's something that sailors can. Well, the thing is, you could see yourself in your own boat doing it, which is actually really exciting. And you understand, like when you're looking at the cockpits, you can see yourself in it moving around. It's much better.
Yeah, many more sailors on board. Everybody, you know, nowadays you've got like 4 guys on the America's Cup boats that understand sailing. The other guys just have to be good at cycling. They don't, you know, or grinding. They don't have to understand. They don't have to understand anything else about sailing. I mean, I'm saying that, I could be wrong, but there was a point in the transition where it was like that.
They've all got their own jobs on the boat that they stick
to. They have very specific jobs. But, you know, I think in the last one in Bermuda, when they sailed them on the Cats in Bermuda, there were guys on the team on the boats racing that didn't really have to understand sailing at all. They were just cyclors or grinders, and that's it. Whereas on the, you know, old school, you're grinding, but you're looking at the sails, and you may run up to the fore and help to get that spinnaker down and all that kind of stuff. You're understanding all of that. Whereas nowadays it's like 4 guys at the back, and it's almost like a spaceship. And controlling it. And I think the reason that they've got, I think it's only 4 guys at the back now, is that everybody is going to dual helms on the new AC boats.
Yep.
So you've got a helmsman on both sides. They're not running across, I don't think, like they do on the SailGP. I don't think there's going to be.
That would be too hard.
In New Zealand last time, I think they did. I think, for example, New Zealand was just Peter Burling driving. But I think now they've got Nathan Utterich to drive on, because the Italians were the first people. They had, I think it was, can't think of his name right now, the Aussie guy. I think they had him on one side and the Italian guy on the other side, and they never swapped. They were the only people who did it in New Zealand. But I think it's standard. I think it's standard now to have 2 helmsmen. So when you're on starboard tack, one guy's driving. When you're port tack, the other guy's driving. Then you have a wing trimmer and maybe on a guy on a flight computer or something like that. And they probably swap roles, but I don't think they're going to be running across. I could be wrong.
Right.
But if you look at the footage now and you compare it to the footage on New Zealand, last America's Cup in New Zealand, I think in America's Cup New Zealand, there were people running across the boat. But now I don't think when they drive or tack, I don't think anyone moves.
They don't do it anymore.
I don't think so.
What does the leeward helmsman do? Do they jump on a sheet or a grinder or something?
They're eyes and ears of what's happening on that side of the sail.
They're just keeping an eye, right? Okay, they're just keeping an eye out.
They're probably backing the guy up or whatever. I don't, it's like way above. I have no idea what they're doing, to be honest.
Yeah, I've not really looked into it.
I could be completely wrong on this, but I suspect this time around, because I think that was one of the reasons that Team New Zealand hired Nathan Utterich to be the second helmsman, because I think Blair Tuke is main trim and flight computer on that side or whatever, something like that. So I think that's going to be standard now, but I could be wrong. Now that we're talking about it, I'm going to go check it out. Yeah, I'm going to go check it out on YouTube and find out. But
yeah, I think it might be the first thing I do when I get a velocity as well.
But don't get me wrong. It's like if I had to choose between the two and I could only see one or the other, I think I'd still go with the old school.
Yeah.
Because I can relate to it more. But I love these things flying around at 40, 50 knots. But what I don't like about that, though, which is, I don't think, and I haven't done the research, but I think if you go back and look at footage from all the old America's Cups, 12-meter rule and IACCs, I don't think you had boats leading by like a kilometer. So these things are flying at 50 knots.
No,
but
never.
if somebody drops down and gets off the foils, or somebody has a major issue, they can finish in a match race. They can finish a kilometer behind.
Yeah.
It's like, that to me is not match racing. Match racing is about a knife fight. It's about
takes the excitement out of it, doesn't it?
It's because back in the day, if you got a penalty, you could hang on to the penalty. If you could give the penalty back, it was canceled. But they don't do that anymore. I think
because they're just moving too fast.
They're moving too fast. So if you get a penalty now, you just slow down, let the guy go ahead. In SailGP is a certain distance, whoever the infraction was against. So you're not doing circles like back in the old days. So penalties, it's a different way of penalties in the America's Cup and SailGP as opposed to normal match racing or even normal fleet racing.
Yeah.
So for me, you kind of lose something there. But
it's going to be interesting to see how it evolves. I think if anything, it will go more fast, quick, extreme, dangerous, because it is more entertaining, especially for someone who isn't a classic sailor or they're not a monohull sailor. They're going to be way more interested in watching that, and I imagine there's more money there as well. So yeah, I do get it.
Sure. I mean, the SailGP event that I went to in San Francisco, I was amazing. It was amazing. It was so cool. So and seeing the boats, getting the audience close to the boats, I think is a big difference also. So it's definitely, I think it's raising awareness for the sport.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know that any of it'll trickle down. A lot of stuff is trickle down. Wing keels, when the Aussies won the first one.
Oh, like some of the technology
on the American.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of the technology trickles down for sure. I don't know that cruising boats are ever going to be foiling.
I hope not, mate. There's actually there's a catamaran company called HH. Have you seen these HH catamarans?
Yeah. Yeah.
They are very ballsy with their marketing. they pride themselves on like flying that catamaran on one hull, which to me
I've
just
seen
looks
that. I've seen that.
lethal.
It's scary. It
Oh
looks
man,
lethal.
I
And
look at that. I'm like, one gust, and that is finished. That boat is gone.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
And cats are very stable when they're upside down now. They're not
Oh
coming
yeah, they
back
don't
up.
move.
They're not coming back with the
No,
next
they're
wave.
not.
They're not coming back up.
No, they're not rolling back over.
But there's actually a super yacht. You should check this out. There's a smaller super. It might be 45 meters. I'm not sure, but it's got T-foils like the eight. But I
On a
think
super
they don't
yacht.
on a super yacht.
A
I'll send you a
45
picture.
meter super yacht.
I think it's a 45-meter Baltic, I want to say, but it could be a Vitters. I don't remember who the build
Okay.
is. But yeah, it's sexy as, and it's got, those canting, I think they're canting T-foils, but I think they just use it for riding moment. I don't think they rise up out of the water on it, or they get lift. I mean, the Volvo Ocean Race or the Ocean Race boats, they're almost out of the water on their foils. I think there's the hull mostly still touching maybe at the aft. So they're not quite foiling, but I don't see cruising boats going 25 knots.
No,
it's too unstable. It's
too unstable. And you saying that there's an Australian couple that do YouTube called Sailing La Vagabond or La Vagabond. One of the two. They just
Sailing La Vagabond.
Well, they've got a trimaran now, and like they're ripping like 25 knots. Like
exactly on a trimaran, but that's safe. That's relatively safe.
Yeah, it's a 60-foot trimaran. It's a bit different. You got two hulls in the water still.
And, you always have two in the water, and you're not going to flip. It's so far out, I guess, that AMA or that hull that you're never going to topple over it. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe somehow with AI and computers in 20 years, maybe it's impossible to flip a foiling cruiser, 42-foot foiling. Who knows? But
we just need some new types of keels.
Yeah, for me as an old school, I just like to see more of the traditional sailing waiting 4 years to see something that I can relate to a little bit more.
Yeah. It's just nice. It's nicer to watch. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, mate, listen, I think we'll end it there because we've covered quite a lot of topics. We've covered your boat, my boat, festival, Parsifal, below deck, covered everything there. And then if anybody wants to come sailing with you, they can come to Greece, where you're going to be sailing again at the festival. I'm looking
mate. Oh yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to that.
I really liked about you coming and taking part in that in the BVIs. It's like we were all cruisers, as are you. You're a liveaboard, full-time cruiser on the same boat as me. Cruising
pretty
boat.
Much.
But like when you were on your boat and you were, talking with the guests and like spending time with them and stuff, it was like a super yacht experience, but on the same catamarans that we were all on. It was so nice, man. You were obviously yourself, but you were so professional as well. Like you were doing debriefs on the sails, and you were doing, like briefings on the sail plan for the day, and it was so interesting to see. You were a great sporter, that mate. Thanks for all the effort you put in. It was great having you there.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun. I can't wait to do the next one. I'm really looking forward to it. Greece is going to be amazing.
And then I'm going to start organizing for next spring. It's going to be the Bahamas.
Yeah. Dude, those are my two favorite places, Greece and the Bahamas. Seriously, Bahamas are like a tropical Greece. I mean, you got so many way of looking islands.
At it. So many little islands.
It is. I think those are the two best sailing areas in the world. If you're going to go somewhere and spend a lot of time, you can't. I love the Caribbean; it's great, but I prefer the Bahamas. The sea life is incredible.
I've never cruised
the water. You haven't cruised Bahamas?
No, I've been there on holiday a couple of times, but I've never cruised there. So I was talking to you. Met her actually. There's a girl called Lauren. She makes YouTube videos also. And she's been based in the Bahamas most of the time. She's coming to Greece. You'll meet her again in Greece. She's cruising a monohull in Greece. But yeah, I said to her the other day, I was like, I'm thinking I want to do Bahamas for the next one. She was like, she said she was going to cross the Pacific, but now she's going to wait because she would rather, she would
Oh
rather
man,
come to it in the Bahamas.
have you figured out where in the Bahamas you're going to do it?
Exumas or Abacos, one of those
Yeah,
two.
those are the two obvious choices, and both of those would be really good.
Yeah,
Abacos
yeah.
might be a little bit easier because it seems like
Lauren said that.
they're a better base there in Marsh Harbor and
Yeah.
maybe even Treasure Key, and everything's so close. There's so, you've got
Yes.
Man of War, you got Leaf Key, you've Hopetown, you've got so many cool things to see. Treasure Key's amazing. You've got Green Turtle. What's the other one? I can't, where Nippers is. I mean, there's Guana maybe. There's so much to see there. It's amazing. Beautiful place. Yeah.
That's my work, mate. That's coming. I think I need to book all the chefs for Greece, and then as soon as I've done that, I'm moving on to Bahamas and getting that organized.
Okay.
So,
well, let's chat. Let's chat about chefs because that's a very.
Oh yeah,
important
we do
part
need
of
to
the
talk
thing.
about that one actually. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out. But yeah, dude, I'm really looking forward.